Speaking of pretty faces, Riz.
Oh, you're so nice. Go ahead.
That's exactly how I like to mix things up. So,
I know what you like, baby.
Really? Okay.
Darn it, I should have got them
Riz.
stand. Darn it.
All the suggestive titles today.
I'm sorry.
Dean just made me blush. Okay.
And it's on camera for the whole world to see.
Unless you edit it out.
Don't give him ideas. Welcome everybody to vlog number 7 of our Pokemon Spectrum campaign. I'm here with the rest of our wonderful players and the GM, and we are about to talk about this session. So let's get to it. What would you guys like to talk about? Yeah,
Our team was awesome.
that it
Contest went
was
better than anticipated. Yep.
We were great at contests this session.
The interview
Yes.
part went as expected, I think.
It went better than expected. Are you nuts? Like 4 out of the 5 questions I should not have gotten. Like as Renan, like I had planned. I was anticipating screwing everything up if I had gotten any questions that either asked him what he felt about humans or what he felt about the other contestants. Like as a criticizer, like, that would have been problematic for everybody, like, big time.
He's a cheater.
Now, and then with my question, you know, it's like, well, how would you compliment the other two? I, for the life of me, could not remember what any of them did. So I had to not mention that fact.
How smart of you.
I'm
That's
the
very smart of
smartest.
you.
I'm the smart one. So, yeah,
Okay.
I did what I could. And I think it played to Bullet's innocent arrogance
sure.
too. So, so it was okay. But yeah, no, as far as the actual like performance section went, yeah, we did awesome.
Oh yeah. All the preparation, worth it.
Yeah, no,
It's really good.
Might need a rain check on that celebration, though.
True.
Yeah.
You are nearly
Maybe.
died. And Ew is inconsolable. And Lux is still weeping inside of Chase's sweatshirt. And Remy almost died.
Yeah.
I have to imagine he's got blood in his pretty fur and he must go clean.
Yeah, that was an unfortunate mess up on my part. But I like the narrative of it, so I'm actually happy that Noir blocked him and went down for him because I think that pushed his storyline forward faster than I expected.
It was exciting.
Yeah, 2 things: both his relationship with Noir and that he uses psychic ability, which is why he didn't use it during the contest. It's his best ability, but he won't use psychic powers. But
No.
seeing Noir use one and go down was what motivated him. So
I think we mentioned this during the break, but I did enjoy the system of the Pokemon contest. It was very strategic. Like there was a lot of things going on with your contest in terms of like the order that you do your moves and the positioning of your Pokemon and all like managing voltage versus, you know, do I actually use a power that is suited to this contest or do I use a different power because that would give me more points that way. I found that really fun, and I would love, you know, just in general, you know, part of me feels like in a way that was slightly more fun than normal combat is in many ways.
there's a lot more thinking for sure.
Yeah.
So I thought they did a good job. The people who made PTU, they did a good job, like writing all the rules down, even though there were a lot of rules. But once I got to like the 3rd contest, I was like, okay, I think I
came a
figured
lot
this out.
quicker.
Yeah. I thought you guys role played all of the stuff that you did on stage very well. I mean,
Describing
it's one thing.
effects.
It's one thing to just roll and see numbers, but you know, it's another thing to be able to describe what your Pokemon's actually doing. So that was nice.
Yeah, I think that added a lot of value, especially like I would say Fern in particular. Like I hadn't expected those powers to be as interesting as they were presented, you know, and it made it that much more, and it put a little bit of the Pokemon's personality into the show as well. So yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah.
And of course, biting away the floor, which of course was not expected.
I have insurance.
One track mind, just like this. There will be a hole in this floor. This is...
Well, Well, there's
And then
several
Bullet-
holes because we changed positions.
That's right.
And then Bullet just embraced like the scary size of being a bat type Pokemon. It's like vanishing. So
Yeah, wish we were as good as at the combat though.
yeah.
Yeah.
The combat was meant to be tough. I originally was completely open for you guys to stop one or both of the humans. I was either Iridessa. I thought you guys would, because of how well you guys were taking out Team Rocket. Claudia and Claudius, like, you guys were really wailing on them. So
We also had surprise.
you did also have surprise. So I kind of was thinking that Iridessa might be relatively easy to take down, especially since Remy is fire and Fern is ice. I figured that her using ice abilities, it was possible for you guys to at least take her out, which you did. You hypnotized her. And Gus was only there as a safety net. Like, if things really went wrong, then Gus was going to, like, help bail her out, and she needed him to bail her out at that point. I was ready for her to escape and Gus to continue his charade. So basically what happened is that had you caught her, then Gus could have, continued working at the facility, at the Pokemon contest for several more sessions, and you would not necessarily, at least your characters would not necessarily have suspected him of being a part of this group. But now, since since you were able to knock her out, he had no choice but to reveal his true colors. And unfortunately, the way that the dice rolled for Cassie, she didn't quite manage to stop him from escaping. So
Yeah.
So
She doesn't have a great athletics.
She doesn't have a great athletics. So
No.
so I was willing to let you have this. I was willing to let you stop them from stealing all of the plates, but it just the dice just didn't work out as well.
But at
for
least
that.
having Gus revealed that way, it lets us set up a bit of a timeline where we can say they've at least been planning this for, a couple weeks.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm glad that not everyone followed Remy into the hallway.
Yeah.
Like that was kind of a that was kind of a thing that annoyed me a little bit about, like, let's say for example the stealth roll that we all did for the to sneak into the police station. Like that did annoy me a bit, because I was like, how are all of us sneaking down this hallway? Like
Scooby-Doo style.
like that did annoy me a little bit. So I was pleased this time to see that some of us did hang back instead of all of us going down the hallway. As much as I'm sure we all wanted to, I felt like it made more sense for Molly to be stuffing her face at the table.
Yeah. The unfortunate thing is, because of the way our campaign is designed, we have 10 PCs, and if you put all 10 PCs into a combat, that doubles how long the combat is, and that's not even
already was long.
Right, and that's not even taking in consideration the people you're fighting, how long it takes for the people you're fighting to take. So if there's ways that we could make it so each person only has one character to control in a combat, which is what I did in the fire, and the fire was really long too. I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing, because timing-wise, you probably would appreciate the combat to not take forever in a day. So just keep that in mind as we move forward, that's something I want to try to encourage, is to find ways for you to choose between your player, your character, your trainer versus your Pokemon, as it makes sense for you to participate. And I think that even if you all happen to still be in the same room together, maybe mechanics-wise, either the trainer acts on their own, or they're spending their turn to command their Pokemon to do something. So even though you're in the same room, either one or the other is actually participating in the combat.
And I would expand on that, Hark, because there's an opportunity for the player to, when you're making a decision about who goes and who stays. Like, I'll use my example of Chase staying. I mean, obviously I didn't want to stay, but there it opens up the opportunity where now Chase has to deal with the fact that he let Lux go in there. All of this crap went down, and he owns a bit of that responsibility, and it sets up that, like, how do you deal with that after, right? How do you talk that through with a Pokemon you almost let die or let get sad or whatever the case might be. So
Yeah.
Yeah, Tiffany has some consoling to do with you.
there's some guilt, right?
Yeah, I was just going to mention, I think Molly is also going to bear some responsibility too, because she and Bullet were both kind of just eating at the table and not paying attention, and they were both kind of big players in the last big fight, you know.
A little bit.
So I think
Yeah.
a little bit, and
But-
ew,
Go ahead. You.
yeah, and ew losing his temper. I'm glad it happened at this point. I knew I wanted it to happen at some point.
Yeah.
And I feel like his reasons are valid. His friends were attacked
Yeah.
and they were badly hurt.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what this will mean for Oo's overall personality in the future.
I think the fact that all 10 of you weren't there helped a lot because there were less of you. The combat was harder, and because the combat was more challenging, it allowed for you to be in that position. It allowed for Remy to be in that position. Versus if it was completely a one-sided combat, like, you wouldn't be having this new role-playing opportunity to explore in the next session. So it's not necessarily a bad thing that you guys aren't winning, like completely winning combat. So
And plus, like, the bottleneck of, like, the crates and stuff really messed with everyone because not everyone could get idea of what was going on and know to attack.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, we definitely got flat-footed for like 3 rounds of just getting mangled while we cleared those boxes. Yeah. But it's also, for all intents, I mean, there was like the station fight happened with folks, but it was more the characters and not the Pokemon. And this was really the first time the Pokemon, outside of the Team Rocket one, but that was kind of like a surprise attack. But this is the first time they actively tried to be a unit and do something, and they sort of failed. And that's actually kind of cool.
They
right?
failed hard.
It's cool.
Yeah.
The critical fail rolls were rough.
Ouch, yeah.
All the critical
Yeah.
rolls.
Ew missing, and then immediately afterwards,
Yeah.
Burn.
Fern missing.
Yeah.
And before we got too far away, I feel like we already kind of have, but I do want to clarify. I said the whole, Gus thing, we can set up a bit of a timeline because he joined 2 weeks ago. But we also time skipped 2 weeks to reach this point. So really we could say, oh, it's just since the last play,
Mm-hmm.
So we still
Yeah.
have no idea how long they could have been planning. We just know that they're still going. Just wanted to correct myself.
Someone needs to lock up those plates.
Yeah, we should
Yeah.
maybe tell Jennings about that one day.
Well, we are going to, the lieutenant did say that we should find out where the other plates are being kept right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Set up some sort of, he can at least have, officers watching. Oh, and because Hark told me to, I'm going to say that so far I have guessed at least 2 of the Pokemon hybrids correctly. So, hey.
Which two?
Ditto and I said Coughing Line because they're pretty much the same, but his last name hints at wheezing pretty heavily.
Yes, Weezington.
So,
So
but then
you-
I do think that Iridessa is a Frostlass because I feel like her name could be a hint at the Dawnstone, and she's slender and has ice powers. Female only. Frostlass is what I'm thinking. I mean, even fits with like the Goth colors. And so now, basically, if it's not Frostlass, Hark is thinking I should have picked Frostlass. But that's my guess for that one too. And I actually had that thought. I think the first time was with the handshake that was cold,
The cold handshake. Yeah.
but I'm not.
Yeah.
But I don't remember.
I was dropping.
That's the earliest I remember.
Yeah, I was trying to drop some hints with her vaping. Like, it was like the mistiness of her vaping, and there was a part where I actually said, I think it might have been during the end of the contest, or I don't remember. It was near the end of the contest when I actually said that she gave somebody an icy glare. Iridessa gave someone an icy glare. I said that specifically. So there was some foreshadowing going on.
Gotcha. Speaking of her, did she actually get hit by any physical attacks?
I
Like
don't think
successfully during that last
I
time?
don't think she got hit by a physical attack that I'm aware of.
Okay.
The hypnosis was very good though.
I'm just thinking she probably
Yeah,
wouldn't have,
the
like,
toss.
lost any blood or left any hair. I'm just thinking of evidence at this point.
She had those shields up, man.
I'm
That's
honest-
what mangled her. Like.
Right?
I honestly am disappointed that Lux was not able to successfully flash anyone. I wanted to see what
I
would have
am
happened.
too.
I kind of wanted that to happen. I wanted that
Oh,
roll to be
jeez.
higher because
They're so tiny voice.
I know.
if Iridessa or any of the Pokemon went mad or worse, if any one of them just dropped dead, that would be really interesting.
Yes.
So maybe you'll get another chance. Maybe you'll get another
Although
chance.
in character, no.
Yeah.
All the torture.
I don't know. Remy would definitely encourage it.
Yeah, but
I
he
mean,
had a trainer that also once encouraged it, and then he left him nearly beaten for dead, so
Right.
let him have his bromance for a bit longer.
Thoughts on
Pretty puppy.
any other insider thoughts on who these people are that are stealing all of these plates and why they're stealing all of these plates?
Well, why
Well-
else would you steal Arceus plates?
Our character makes me think of the Elementalist class in the Game of Thrones PDF. Like, they all seem to assign to a specific type. So it's like,
Yeah.
are we going to see the rest of the types?
How about that? Yes.
The thing is, if they were just after type boosting things, there are plenty of other items that are a lot easier to come by than the plates. Like, the plates have to be for Arceus specifically. Something to do with him. Because otherwise, they're type boosters, stat boosters, focus gems.
So do you think that Arceus is doing something devious? Do you think there's
No,
something
I
shady going on with
don't-
Arceus?
I would think personally that it's more, if anything, it's people who are trying to either kind of usurp, the role, or are a serious, crazy, fanatical kind of cult. Trying to seek his favor or something by gathering all the pieces.
Okay.
I don't think that Arceus has any reason to venture out. I mean, he set up specifically Pokemon to stop crazy things from happening in the world. Like
But
the
what
Lake
if-
Trio, I believe they were.
But what if you spliced Arceus with a human? And that human's looking for the plates to amplify his powers or her powers.
Yeah,
Maybe it's not Arceus, it's just a bunch of Pokemon, it's a bunch of people trying to act like the legendaries or something like that. Gods on Earth.
That'd be worrying.
I mean, I definitely want to learn more about these people.
So does
the splicers in particular, what they're actually capable of, how it actually happens. So I'm really hoping that Cassie can get far enough within, Prism to actually gain access to that sort of information. Because I don't really want her to ask around, because that would draw some weird attention. But she's obviously curious. Her first day on the job, she tried to see what she could access. And it was almost nothing, because she's new. But yeah.
So that does come to my next question is, so this, which I call the Prism story arc, as in the prism that was behind Tiffany's door, is going to be wrapping up. I'm curious what you guys are interested in doing next session, when we wrap things up next for this story arc.
Chase is going to talk to Jenny.
Okay.
Chase, that's his first move, is to have a talk with him, hopefully in private, about some stuff, about stuffs. Chase needs a team. He needs this particular person on said team.
Okay, fair enough.
So that's gonna be his first. I mean, as soon as he finds out about it. So because I think
Yeah.
he's still kind of not really
you'll-
clear on what happened.
Yeah, you'll probably find out about it. We'll
With
see what
Madison.
happens. Okay.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have a specific hook that they wanted to look into for the next session?
Not hook, more question.
Okay. Like,
she won her contest. Does she get a ribbon for it?
Mm-hmm.
And does she get the job or not?
Yeah, we'll find that out in the beginning of next session. All of that.
Okay.
Yes.
And did Tiffany actually recognize the prism upon entering the room?
I will say she.
I don't think Tiffany saw the prism at all. She went to Ooh.
I was
And
just
then
going
she
to say, if
snapped
she
at
didn't,
Dragonair, and then she went back
Cassie
to
would
Ooh.
point it out.
I think it's safe to say that by the beginning of next session that everyone will recognize the prism. So
Okay.
if you want to
Good to
refer
know.
to said prism, you may when we start the next session.
So was the next session immediately picking up where we left
Yeah,
off?
immediately.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have some things to wrap up, but I didn't want things to go too late. So
Good.
I had to stop it there after the combat, basically.
Gotcha. Cool. I actually am curious. This is just, it's a bit of a selfish question, I guess, but I'm wondering, what did you think that Cassie was going to do, being the only person there with absolutely no combat moves?
Oh, my sister in this.
I'm just wondering because...
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's one of those situations where I had no idea. I was just curious to
Who was
see
gonna
like,
go?
what you would do. Yeah, what would you do? I don't know.
Okay. Call
I
the
use
cops.
cell phone. I upload video to YouTube.
I was tempted to have her move up, but one, move restrictions, then I wouldn't be able to like call in the same turn and everything. And it already took me 3 turns to call.
Yeah.
So with the whole like waiting list, I didn't
Yeah.
want to push it any farther. And then 2, with all of the attacks, you don't really want to expose yourself in the doorway.
Yeah.
that was her logic behind that. So
Yeah.